Hello and welcome to the Fanster Rundown, a weekly look at the world of sports here in Phoenix. I'm Greg Esposito alongside Matt Blake, and we're here in the lovely Legal Broadcast Network studios in Scottsdale to bring you this show. Before we get into it, Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Greg. It's our first time actually doing a real video production show, not something in our closet, and I'm really excited for it. And you know what? I like the fact that we changed the name to The Rundown because that is really what the show is all about.
Well, enough with the cheesy banter. We'll get right into it as we have 4 topics this week from around the net to discuss. And the first one is the Arizona Cardinals are in training camp. Everybody talking about their running back situation, Kurt Warner's health. We want to go a little deeper. We want to get a little more serious than most others will. We want to talk about the Cardinals riding Segways. That's right, the Arizona Cardinals at training camp. Each player has his own Segway, and we got some pictures from Rock and Minutia.
Let's put it this way.
At the fan.
We have the evidence for you that this is probably one of the lamest things that you will see an Arizona Cardinals player do. From Larry Fitzgerald, luckily I haven't seen Anquan Bolden on one of these things, but it is an absolute mess. Not only that, but they're parking them in perpendicular, like exact order. It's just absurd what is happening at Cardinals training camp. If you haven't been up there to see it, drive up to Flagstaff right now because it's ridiculous. Check this picture.
Well, the thing for me that I find funny is everybody's trying to make sure that Kurt Warner isn't looked at as this brittle old player, and they've got him riding what amounts to a jazzy. The things you see in commercials during The Price is Right. These old people move things to move them around. I think it looks kind of funny. I heard there from Segway of Tempe. I heard Larry Fitzgerald talking about it. I'm just glad that they got them the all-terrain Segways and not the smaller version, because we wouldn't want them having a tough time climbing those hills in Flagstaff.
Yeah, you wouldn't want the domestic versions that the mall cops ride around in. You want the all-terrain ones where you can carry stuff too. I mean, here's a picture of Larry Fitzgerald carrying his pads with him. You can't beat that picture right there. And not only that, it looks like he's humping the thing too. And I love Larry Fitzgerald. And you know what? It provides some humor, but you gotta like the Segways at Cardinals training.
You're the NFC champions. You went to the Super Bowl last year, and you're riding around in these things. Rethink the strategy. You guys can walk, all right? We'll move on to the next topic from people losing cred to somebody gaining a little bit of cred. Amare Stoudemire, according to LasVegasWeekly.com, was seen in Las Vegas last week with Jay-Z and LeBron James following a Beyonce concert. A lot of controversy. Some local media, Arnie Spanier included, have ripped on Amare Stoudemire for going to Vegas after all of his injuries. He said he was there with LeBron James, Amare Stoudemire, rappers Fabulous, MVP, songstress protege Rihanna, and Melody, and the Pussycat Dolls were there, and Jay-Z, as I mentioned. So a star-studded cast that Amare was hanging out with. I don't really have a problem with this. I was more shocked that Beyonce had an alter ego, Sasha Fierce, than I was that Amare Stoudemire was partying in Vegas.
Yeah, same with me. I completely agree. At this point, Amare has already been back and been through some workouts. He obviously has had eye issues. He's been on bed rest 22 out of 24 hours in certain days for several months, resting back his eyes. But you know what? It's the middle of the summer. As long as he is in shape by the time that the season starts, I am okay with this. I think that players should be allowed to have social lives, and I don't see why Arnie is ripping on it 2 days in a row, yesterday and then today again. In fact, Greg even called into the show just to defend himself because he wrote an article on Fanster.com saying, look, this is okay. And Greg, I got your back. I completely agree with you.
The reason I think it's okay is, as you mentioned, it's the off season. Another thing, Amare Stoudemire has never been caught for doing anything illegal per se. He's not in strip clubs making it rain. He's not bringing unwilling girls to a hotel room in Colorado. You know who you are that we're talking about. He's not doing any of these things that other athletes are getting in trouble for. So I think if Amare Stoudemire wants to go out, blow off some steam after he rehabs during the day, go for it. If come October he's not ready for the season, there's something physically he could have done better, then I'll have an issue.
Absolutely. Same with me. You and I are on the same page on this. I know that Arnie from 1060 is not, but you know what? we can have a nice little argument on the radio. No big deal to me.
We can agree to disagree. Now, we move from one Suns player in Vegas to another one playing wiffle ball on the street. Jared Dudley earlier this week sent out a Twitter message that said, quote, "Attention. The police just showed up while we were playing wiffle ball and said it's illegal to play any sport in the street. Wow," end quote. Now, I didn't ever know this because if I did, I would have been a lot more hardcore when I was in middle school and high school. We played a lot of basketball in the street.
You should probably be in jail right now with all the basketball that you played on the street.
We should. We played wiffle ball. I would have had a hell of a lot more street cred than I was aware of. If I had known that it's illegal to play sports in streets.
How is it illegal to play a sport in the street? I mean, I guess it depends what street you're playing on. If you're playing on Shea Boulevard, not the best idea. If you're playing on the cul-de-sac, in your neighborhood, yeah, maybe that's a better idea and shouldn't be illegal unless you're blocking cars and not letting people get out of their houses or whatever.
I'm going to take a guess that Jared Dudley lives in a nice neighborhood with a decent street that he could play wiffle ball on.
How did the police get into his neighborhood? He's got to be in one of those nice neighborhoods that has the gate people that will not let you in, not even the police.
I just want to know how he doesn't have a big enough backyard to just play wiffle ball back there. You avoid the whole cop situation if you go play in a nice little grass area. But honestly, this is a ridiculous story, and I feel bad for Jared Dudley because who knows what the onus for the cops to even come there and check out he and his friends playing wiffle ball were. But I can't believe it's illegal to play it in the street. Yeah, we'll have to check with our friends at the Legal Broadcast Network to find out if it actually is legal.
The other question for me is, what city was he in at this time? He did not post it up on Twitter. You can see his Twitter page right here. It's not there. He didn't say. So is this in Phoenix or is this somewhere else? Because maybe that makes sense. Maybe it's not the Phoenix police. Maybe it's someone else and we're just ragging on the wrong police.
Any police department that's stopping you for playing wiffle ball, there's probably more important
things. It's a dangerous
things.
sport, Greg. Calm down.
Have you seen some of the welds it leaves on people? It is dangerous. You wouldn't want one of those hitting an innocent bystander. No. So that's pretty much it. We're trying to track down Jared Dudley to get to the bottom of the story and let you, the fan, know exactly what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. But we'll move on to our fourth and final story of the rundown today. As we look to the Phoenix Coyotes, and no, we're not talking bankruptcy. No, we're not talking Jerry Reinsdorf and Judge Redfield T-Bomb. No, we're talking Jerry Moyes and the house he and his wife have put up for sale. Moyes and his wife Vicky have listed a 4-bedroom house with 2.5 baths in Camelback East for $985,000. Now, and this is according to blockshopper.com. Now,
tell them the address.
No, I'm not going to tell them the address. They can go online. They can find it themselves if they want to. But we do not condone doing anything to Jerry Moyes'
No, we
house.
Don't. But we'll still tell you the address.
But I just think it's interesting that Jerry Moyes has come to the point where he has to sell his house. If I was him, I'd sell any property I had in the valley and move far away for what he's doing to the hockey fans in this state, and the fact that he's a big proponent of selling and moving the team to Canada.
Well, he's got to do it because if he stays in Phoenix and the team leaves, he is in big trouble. He originally bought the house for $1.25 million. He's selling it for $985,000. So, like the Coyotes, he's taking a big loss.
Yeah, but
he's got to get out of town. People are going to harass him. He can't be seen in public anymore.
Hey, at least we know that even the rich are affected by the downturn in the economy
and
the housing market. But the ironic thing is, in 2008, about 1,900 homes were sold in the area that Moyes' house is. The median price, $173,000. So apparently Moyes' house is worth a lot more than the rest of them. I did hear a rumor Jerry Reinsdorf is going to put a bid in on the house, but he's not willing to pay any cash, and that all the money goes to the home builder and the city to pay for back taxes. But he wants a special property taxing district to do it. And Jim Balsillie also made an offer. He wants to move the house to Hamilton, though. So that's the only
And he's going to pay $10 million for the house, even though it's only listed for $985,000.
He doesn't want the land even. So it's a great deal for Moyes. Yeah. We'll keep you updated on that and let you know how much his house sells for. So that's been your rundown here on Fanster.com. Your weekly look at the weird, the wacky, all the headlines that we'll bring you. For Matt Blake, I'm Greg Esposito. Thanks once again to the Legal Broadcast Network for the use of their studios. We'll be back next week with another rundown.